born in Finnish Lapland. Liksom has written several novels and plays, and her works also include comic books, short films, documentaries, and visual arts. Her books have been translated into 25 languages. Liksom was awarded the Finlandia Prize in 2011 for her novel Compartment Number 6, and the Swedish Academy's Nordic Prize in 2020. And the filming of Compartment Number 6 won the Grand Prix at Cannes Film Festival this July. Rosa Liksom will be speaking to us about the responsibility of the author in the current situation where Earth is being shaken by climate change and the sixth wave of extinction. Before we play the recording of her talk, we will play a song by the Liksom Lux project. Lyrics are by Rosa Liksom, and the song has been composed by Lisa Lux, who also performs the song. The song is called Maa, or Earth in English.
I'm a Finnish author and artist Rosa Liksom, and I'm going to speak to you about fire. Humans and fire. A general and private understanding of cosmology and everyday life. My childhood was spent in a small forest village in Finnish Lapland in the 1960s. Fire was always present in our home. The day began at 5 in the morning when a fire was made in the wood-burning cooker and then under the water heater in the barn. Food was prepared on the wood-burning stove. A fire burned in stoves of our home from morning till night. On winter evenings, I did my homework in the dim glow of a candle and carried a lantern as I followed the path to my school clubs. A fire burned in sauna stove. Fields were burned over. During the reindeer roundups, we sat in the blaze of fire from dawn till dusk and listened to the adults as they recounted their stories. At the farm, the last person awake in the evening made sure that all the fires had gone out for the night. Fire was protected, feared, and respected, as were nature and animals. People understood they were dependent on clean water, land, and air. Even small children soon learned the saying, tuli on hyvä renki, mutta huono isäntä. Fire is a good servant, but a bad master. As I stepped out of the house in the early winter mornings, the vast starry sky arched over all that was. The burning of billions of stars cast a flickering light on the farmyard covered with a thick blanket of snow. I could often see the Milky Way mentoring creamy along the celestial concave. Space was pulsating with black light, which was ablaze with the aurora borealis, flickering like icy candles. During the polar night, the sun was something everyone anxiously waited for, and dreams of its hot glowing light were had in every household. As the sun cast the first fiery red rays on the snowy horizon, the villages gathered together. we had once more survived the polar night. Throughout the summer, for 3 months, the fireball in the sky glowed high above us. The night could not be separated from the day. Anthropology and the cultural history. As a child, seeing how the northern lights and fire were harnessed as the dividing force of everyday source, put things in proportion. How big the universe and how small the person at its center. When I later studied anthropology at University of Helsinki, I read all myths from around the world explaining that the sun and the earth were born out of chaos, ruled by fire. Contemporary science has come to the same conclusion. The gods Ra and Horus worshipped by the Egyptians radiated fire. In India and several other cultures, fire was considered a sign of divine presence. Fire was part of sacrifice, ceremony, and spiritual cosmology. What is more, its dual nature enabled its use as a weapon of holy wrath. The stories of Old Testament also are full of fire. In desert, the Lord goes ahead of the Israelites in a pillar of fire. Yahweh appears to Moses in a burning bush, and the Psalms tell us how the voice of the Lord flashes forth flames of fire. The older the religion, the closer and more alive fire is. I studied the archaeological traces of human species. I was amazed to learn how natural fires sustained by fossil fuels have surged from the Earth's depths for at last as long as humanity has wandered its surface. In the ancient city of Baku, natural gases had burned unremittingly for so long that they were considered eternal. The flame fed by invisible fuel was a great mystery that was worshipped as an expression of the divine spirit. Ancient people considered themselves to be part of geological and cosmic deep time, with which a spiritually and intellectually refined individual would be merged. Even though the Egyptians invented the art of writing and recorded the first social events in which history on papyrus, the source of life was inextricably linked to the universe of nature, created by geological series of events. In recent centuries, modern Western culture has lost touch with the holistic idea that humans and their history are just a blink of an eye in the Earth's geological deep time. Many of the high cultures that have preceded us, for example, the ancient Africa, thought humans were responsible for creating a just and balanced community and respecting the surrounding nature and companion species on account of their special intellectual abilities. These secret connections were broken as Christianity and the modern science made the Western man dictator of all creations. European colonialists created an unprecedented word power based on the systematic exploitation of non-European peoples, nature, and companion species. The colonialist world power, which has made Western culture the yardstick of all progress and success, continues to be the economic basis of our prosperity. According to art historian Anita Seppä, the cultural narrative dating back to colonial times, which bases itself on reason and the technology created by it, has separated man from the concepts which are essential for supporting life, such as sensory, intuitive experiences, emotions, empathy, a collective sense of community, aesthetic values, the subconscious, our companion species, spirituality, and nature. For the first time in human history, technology now provides us with a model of how nature should function. This development has also changed our relationship with fire. Modern science and technology have detached fire from our everyday lives. About 250 years ago, fire was confined to the fireboxes of steam engines and to burn coal in furnaces of factories. Gradually, fire disappeared from our view completely. It was given a chemical name and the wonder of the flame was eliminated. In the sterile chambers of laboratories, the blaze necessary for supporting life shrank into an insignificant flame. As our industrial society shifted from using steam engines to using internal combustion engines, oil replaced coal and became the most important source of energy in the 20th century. The struggle for oil resources set a new kind of stage of superpower politics and created a world power ruled by fossil capitalists. The splitting of uranium and its increasingly diverse use began to fuel consumption, which accelerated exponentially. According to Earth system science, in the 1950s already represented a time of great acceleration. Population and the GDP grew, the use of energy, fertilizers and fresh water increased. In tandem with traffic, telecommunications, international tourism and foreign investments. As the statistics compiled by researchers show, the atmosphere began showing signs of becoming unstable at the same time. Shaken by the corrosive toxic burden of carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, methane and ozone. Surface temperature of the Earth rose. Seas acidified, tropical forest areas diminished, and our companion species began to die out. According to many modern scientists, this course of development begins the Anthropocene, the era in Earth's history when humans have become an unprecedented planetary influence. In the late 1960s, fire also disappeared from my home. It was replaced by electric lights and electric heating. Soon the sauna and water were also heated using electricity. The rooms were filled with electronic devices and the cattle were taken to the slaughterhouse. The heat of an open fire became something that was only enjoyed during the reindeer roundups. In the following decades, fire remained out of sight, out of mind, until in the 21st century, the world began to burn. Leading scientists had warned us of the ongoing climate change for 30 years, but they were not taken seriously. Humans needed to concretely experience where the separation from the nature would lead. The ecological crisis of our time has brought fire back to us. Fire which we had almost forgotten. Amazon rainforests are burning. The Siberian taiga and Karelia is on fire. In Florida, California, in Europe, even in Finland, firefighters are struggling to put out massive wildfires in, day out. The fire that is now always burning uncontrollably, without ecological boundaries, is burning down landscapes, forests, and shaping the landscapes of the future. In the world of 2020s, where we have separated ourselves from nature, we suffer from anxiety, alienation, and a wild race of mental health problems. We have managed to leave a heavy mark on the geological deep time of our planet. But our subconscious still lives in the world of hunter-gatherer. It is important to keep in mind that our DNA has not changed. We are still a species of primates and the great apes, that is, one species among others. Still today, our closest surviving relatives are the chimpanzees and the bonobo. What is the role of literature in this time of great upheaval? To paraphrase Dostoevsky, the fire that ultimately matters is not fire on the roof or in the bus or in dynamo, but the fire in the mind. According to Dostoevsky, a fire burning on roof and in a scrub is not as important as the fire in the mind of brilliant, creative individual. Modern literature has long been fed by a similar understanding of art. Contrary to this tradition, like many other of my contemporaries, I want to reevaluate my relationship with Earth, nature, companion species, and myself. Through my art, I seek opportunities to restore Homo sapiens in its niche, to be an equal to other animals, trees, plants, water, and land. If we do not set limits on our greed, we will eventually destroy ourselves. Reflecting on the rupture in the relationship between humans and nature led me to write my new novel, Väylä, the River, which will come out this September. The central feature in the story is a 13-year-old girl who, at the outbreak of Lapland War, also called German War, in the autumn of 1944, flees to Sweden, accompanied by cattle and a few other children. As the long and arduous journey progresses, the girl, like numerous others, ends up in a war refugee camp. A year later, she and the cattle return to the ruins of war-torn landscape and home village, to a burned land where rebuilding must start from beginning. Although the story is set in a historical frame, its writing was motivated by burning questions of our time. How to share experiences of exile and deprivation through literature. How to rewrite humans and their place in the nature and among other species. How to find a living connection to those layers of our existence which human-centered modernism has tragically lost in the past centuries. How to bend a written narrative to reveal the simple truth that we have been denying for a long time. Nature does not need humans, but to live, humans need nature. Thank you.